The Bears 2024 NFL schedule release happened last night. So, of course, naturally, Jack and I have to talk about it. From the start, there are some favorable games heading into the Week 7 bye week. The Bears start their 2024 campaign at home against the Tennessee Titans. What does that mean for Caleb Williams to start his first ever NFL game at Soldier Field in a pretty, I think, formidable matchup for the Bears and for Caleb and Odunze and the rest of the supporting cast on offense. We're going to get to that in just a second. We're going to give our overall thoughts, our overall take on the Bears schedule. But first, Jack, rookie minicamp was this past weekend. It was the first time that a lot of fans like you and myself got to see Caleb, got to see Rome Odunze, Torrey Taylor, our new generational Australian punter in Bears gear. What were some like your overall thoughts? I mean, like we didn't get to see much. It's not like, this is a huge event, but it's not every now and then the Bears have the number one overall pick, and then we get to see that number one overall pick finally practice in Bears gear. I'm like it's kind of a big deal. So what did you take from Bears rookie minicamp? Thoughts, concerns, first impressions? Give it to me.
Yeah. First things first, it was just exciting to see even the small snippets, the mini slant routes that we saw of the partnership between Caleb and Odunze. Super excited seeing that. Even the next day, seeing those throws that he was doing to
the undrafted rookies that they brought in.
Yeah. Either way, it was just exciting to see. Just excited to see him in Bears gear. It did look like everyone is like buying in on the hype, and I am. It was a small slant route and rocking wood. Absolutely rocking wood.
I'm going to try and like temper expectations as best as I can, because everybody in the NFL looks great in no shoulder pads and in shorts. Caleb just throwing slants to guys like with no live defense. So I'm gonna pump the brakes a little bit. Does it look good? Absolutely. Do I want more content? Without question.
Hyped.
Hyped. Right. I mean, like the Bears, social media team is just like, oh, we heard you guys want more Caleb Williams content. Okay, we're gonna slowly slide
tease
that.
Me. Yeah, tease me.
Just tease us, please. And we finally got to see Caleb actually videos of him throwing live balls to DJ, to Keenan Allen, to Velus Jones and Tyler Scott the other day.
Yeah, they even looked good. I'm like, let's fucking go, baby!
Well, it would be great if we finally have a quarterback that can elevate like our fourth and fifth string wide receivers. Like that'd be nice, right? I mean, we're not quite used to that. So I will say, and we talked a little bit about it before hopping on the air here, but I know the second day, Rome Odunze had a sore hamstring that he's been nursing, and he wasn't able to practice. Like the Bears pessimist in me is just like, is this a lingering issue? Is this going to affect him going into training camp? Like, is there more to this than we don't know? To me, that's like a little bad juju. I'm really, really hopeful that like this isn't going to be a further issue moving forward. It seems like he's okay, but again, Odunze did not practice that second day of Bears rookie minicamp. Are you concerned?
Not in the slightest. You need to temper expectations, Kimo Sabi. He is absolutely fine. He's got a little bit of a pull. Nothing of concern. You think about it, he's been out of footballing activities for X amount of weeks. Coming in, there was always going to be just a little bit of a muscle tweak. Nothing of concern. We're not going to go into this season pessimistic, a glass half full, or glass half empty, whatever the saying is. We are going into this with bright eyes, bushy tails, that he's going to put up monster yards. We're not worried. He's going to make it through the bloody season. I can't go into this season with a pessimistic view. Otherwise, it is going to... I'm anxiety.
I'm not either, but being a fan for as long as I have for this team, there's always something, right? Like there's just always fucking something, right?
But this year's not. This year's it. Let's fucking go!
He's jacked up. I mean, I'm excited too. I was joking with my fiance last night, like, she's so ready. She's in the education system. She's so ready for summer. It's just like, man, like, can we like skip summer like entirely? Like, can we just get to the fall? Like, is it September yet? Like, I'm
Give
cool
me preseason.
I'm cool with skipping summer. Just get us to August. Get us to August. Get us to the end of September because we're feasting for football. And we got a little bit of more football news last night. The Bears 2024 schedule did release. Love the video the Bears put out. Shout out
brilliant.
to like Mean Girls and Ferris Bueller and Breakfast Club and all the cool nodes to former Chicago like setting movies. But
even then they had people from all types of social media that have been viral. I don't know if you recognize this. There was the girl that had gone viral on TikTok.
Was she the Lions fan?
Yeah,
was she the Lions fan? Also, how much did they pay Young Gravy to pose as the Vikings fan? The blonde hair guy in the stands? Young Gravy.
I don't know why.
Yeah. And don't ask me why I know who that was. I mean, I couldn't tell you, but I just had a hunch that was him. Phenomenal artist, let me tell you. Anyway, back to football, what we came here to talk about. Bears, week 1, open up against the Tennessee Titans. Now, on paper, I think this is an awesome matchup. This isn't like, it's not like we're facing the Panthers or the Patriots week 1. I mean, like, this isn't the most difficult matchup for the Bears. I think this is a Tennessee team that, although still has talent on the team, just lost Derrick Henry. Will Levis still is trying to figure himself out. They have a brand new head coach in Callahan. Like, this is a team trying to figure out its identity, and what better way for Caleb Williams to start his 2024 rookie NFL season at home on the lakefront at a rockin' Soldier Field. Listen, I'm really excited. I think this is a great matchup for the Bears. Formidable but very beatable opponent. But after sleeping last night, I have some problems with our schedule here. But week 1 against Tennessee, Jack, what are your thoughts?
I think Tennessee did a really good job of improving their offense right now. They've got Tony Pollard, Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins is already there, having a relationship with Will Levis, and then they've picked up Tyler Boyd as well.
They beefed up the offensive line.
Yeah, offensive line's looking stacked. I'm not worried because our defense is just formidable, and at the end of the day, Will Levis is it's if Tim Tebow and Gronkowski had a child. Like, Levis
has these athletic, good plays, but at the end of the day, I still think he needs a lot more of experience. And time will tell. Time will tell. But I really do think that this is a really good first draw for the Bears at home. Now,
agreed.
With all the Caleb hype, are you a little bit disappointed that we didn't draw the primetime opener? Like, we weren't Sunday Night Football. We weren't Monday Night Football. Obviously, Thursday was out the window with the Chiefs and the Ravens. But are you a little disappointed, like, we didn't face off against the Lions or somebody else on Sunday night or Monday
Green
night?
Bay week 1.
We couldn't play Green Bay regardless week 1 because they're playing in Brazil. Against the Eagles. So honestly, I didn't want Green Bay. We've been down that road. We've lost 10 in a row to Green Bay. I don't want to start the season with a dud.
Optimist in me.
And that's not even me being pessimistic. I mean, they just have our number. Like, I don't want to do that song and dance again. We've been down that road. NBC and ESPN and ABC, like literally, like, they want that game for the ratings. They already know what the outcome is going to be.
Yes.
Hopefully this year is different. But continuing on with the schedule, and where a lot of my issues lie are, we don't play a divisional game. We don't play Green Bay, our first divisional game, until week 11. Like, that's an issue. Yeah. Bye weeks in week 7. So again, the Bears start with Tennessee at home. Our first primetime game is in week 2 at the Houston Texans, Sunday Night Football, which will be great. I mean, you're talking about hopefully you're talking about the 2 new impressive young quarterbacks in this league, and C.J. Stroud and Caleb Williams. So that's going to be a great matchup. Week 3 at Indianapolis. So right off the bat, we have 3 AFC South teams. All this Caleb Williams hype, everyone's been so excited. To me, honestly, Jack, is a little bit of a letdown because, I mean, like, the week 1 slate of the NFL, like, other than Chicagoland, no one's gonna really care about the Bears Titans opener. Like no one that game.
I see where you're coming
that game
from.
isn't sexy.
No,
I'll be honest. The AFC South back to back 3 straight in a row is not sexy to me. No offense to any Colts, Jaguars, Texans
I get
you
now.
Like the
Okay,
AFC South isn't sexy. No one likes the AFC South. And people are tuning in because they're Bears fans. They're not tuning in because they're fans of you know what I'm saying? Like I was just a little surprised. That's all.
This morning when you texted me and you said, like, because I remember when it come out and everyone's excited, I'm excited. I'm looking at the schedule and I'm like, I don't even care. Like, this is great. This is everything. And then when you texted me this morning and you said, I've got a bone to pick with this schedule, I'm thinking, what? What have you got to pick with that? I think that's actually a really valid point. Nobody, and I mean nobody, really, and I know you're saying the opposite. I'm going to say this outright. Nobody gives a shit about the AFC South. It is a booty-ass division. I have no interest in it. Titans, like I said, not sexy. Texans, honestly, they're looking good. The offense and defense, their coach is looking good. I kind of do like that matchup and being on that Sunday Night Football. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Colts, there's nothing. I don't look at the Colts and be like, oh, I can't wait to watch that game. Don't get me wrong, I would do because it's Chicago, but I'm not there looking at there going, oh, can't wait to watch the Colts. Yeah, right. I'm completely with you. Yeah,
and then we play the Jaguars. We play the Jaguars week 6 in London.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be an interesting game. That's an 8:30 kickoff Chicago time. That'll be interesting. Will you know anybody that's going to the game? Do you know anybody?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a couple of friends that go down to the games. Doesn't matter who's playing, they go down. I mean, the big hype with the international games is it doesn't matter. I mean, they pan out to the crowd. Everyone's wearing any kind of jersey imaginable. It's not, Jags versus Bears. It's an NFL team versus an NFL team, and we all get to go watch it.
I think this is the second year in a row, and they might have done this even more, not to my knowledge, but I know the Jaguars are probably going to stay in London to practice the very next week after playing the Bears because they're staying again for another game in London the following week. I mean, you might as well call them the London Jags. I mean, it is going to happen. I say this in the next 10, 15 years, the Jaguars will be in London. Like, they will be the first international NFL team.
Yep.
And I'm assuming eventually there's going to be a division in Europe because it doesn't make sense to just have one team out there. There has to be a division somehow, somewhere out there. So all right. So let's just focus on the first 6 weeks before the bye week 7. So again, week 1, Tennessee at home. Week 2 at Houston. Week 3 at Indianapolis. Week 4, come back home at Soldier Field against the Rams. Week 5, another home game against the Panthers, and then week 6 is when the Bears go to London and go to and take on Jacksonville, or I should say the London Jaguars. So before the bye week, I mean, realistically, I don't know about you, but I feel like most Bears fans, you can easily pen us in for 4-2. That's a pretty favorable first month and a half to 2 months of the season, right, Jack?
Do you want my hot take? My hot take right now, and this is I just talked to my friend about this. Big Packers fan. He's a big Packers fan, and he's like, what are you thinking about your schedule? 6-0. 6-0. Tell me who we lose against there. In all honesty, tell me who realistically, looking at that those matchups, who beats us?
I think Houston's going to be tough. I also think that the Colts game is going to be like a complete crapshoot. There's something about the Colts at home at Lucas Oil Stadium. Like, they're a scrappy team. Like, no one actually enjoys playing the Colts at their place at Lucas Oil. Like, they're a scrappy team there. The Rams are no pushover. They will play a little bit different on that Soldier Field grass, 100%, but they still have Matt Stafford. They still have one hell of a coach in Sean McVay, so you can't cancel them out. And Jacksonville, that game can go either way. A lot of the games that the Jaguars play overseas, they do not play well. Like statistically, historically, they do not perform well overseas. So again, I see losses at Houston, and I see a loss either to the Colts or the Rams. But other than that, I mean, the Bears should be 4-2 heading into the bye week, heading into Week 7.
But I said earlier, I don't rate Will Levis. You've got weapons. You saw it with Chicago. You know, we assumed we had weapons. We had DJ Moore, we had Darnell Mooney, and we thought our QB was Justin Fields, and it wasn't meant to be. I don't think the Titans have a guy with Will Levis there. We go into Texans. I agree. Very difficult game. I still think we can win it. That's the optimist in me, not the pessimist. Colts at Lucas Oil Field. At the end of the day, you've got a quarterback coming back off an injury. Yes, he was a very good quarterback at the beginning of the season, Anthony Richardson. But you've got that team is injury prone. I don't know what's in the water in Indianapolis, but I would not be surprised if one of their players is down and out for the count already by week 3. Rams, Matt Stafford, old man Stafford. He's getting towards the tail end of his career. Yes, he can put up numbers. They've got Puka, they've got Cooper Kupp, but that defense changes with Aaron Donald out. That defense is a completely different team. And then we all know what we think about the Panthers. I don't have an opinion on them. We absolutely fleeced them. And then, like I said, the Jags. They've got a good team on paper. I think it could be close. Trevor Lawrence is a good quarterback, but nothing on that that team.
A neutral site over in London. Anything can happen in that game. Yeah, anything can happen.
I told my friend, big Packers fan, he's like, you've got to start a rookie quarterback. Like, temper your expectations. No, I will not. I am not coming into this season thinking my rookie quarterback is going to underperform. We saw it working with CJ Stroud. We've seen it work with Anthony Richardson before he got injured. I really think our rookie quarterback can carry this team. And we have put him in a position to be so successful with that offense. And our defense is looking stud. We've done all the right things. I really, really do think 6-0. I'm calling 6-0. I want money on it. I want to go look at the odds while we're talking about this, because I want the odds now.
Coming out of the bye week, Week 8, the Bears are at Washington to take on the Commanders. Following that, Week 9, they're at Arizona to take on the Cardinals. And then they come home Week 10 against New England. So those 3 teams coming off the bye week, very favorable. But Week 11, that's when it starts to get real. Week 11 is the first divisional game for the Bears when they host Green Bay November 17th. Then they play Minnesota, and then Week 13 at Detroit for Thanksgiving. It'll be a special Thanksgiving. Bears-Lions.
Oh, great. Yep. Love it.
Do you have concern? We have 3 straight divisional games later in the season. And let's say the Bears don't get off to that 6-0 hot start that you are hoping that they get out to. And I of course, I hope so too. Doesn't that put more pressure on this team to succeed? And doesn't that just put more pressure just in general on performing well later in the season against your divisional rivals? Like, that's tough. To me, that's tough.
You've hit it on the head right there. Like you said, when we come after that bye week, we have Commanders. I really think we can beat the Commanders. They don't look special. We beat the Cardinals. I don't think they look special. We beat the Patriots. Now, Drake May is a fraud in the league. Green Bay Packers, honestly, like you said, they've had our number. I really think we split the Packers this year. I'm gonna make that shout. I don't think they take us both. But there's always that game at Lambeau, and there's always, like I said, they have our number. I don't know how. Jordan Love's another fraud in the league. A lot of frauds, if you haven't already guessed. I do think we beat the Packers at home. I'm going to say it. I'm going to put it into existence. I want it aired out. I think the Bears beat the Packers at home. I think we beat the Vikings. JJ McCarthy, I think, is going to be a bust I really think he's going to be a bust. But I do think we lose to the Lions at Detroit. That's a game. And if you're doing the math, I'm saying that we're getting to that's week 13.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be, plus the bye week, we'll be 11-0. 12-0, 11-0. Yeah. I'm calling it.
I love it.
I really do think the only teams that we're going to lose against, because as we go further through this, we've got the Lions. I think we split the Lions. The 49ers are just that team right now. I don't see anyone beating the 49ers.
That's an afternoon matinee game out in the Bay Area in Santa Clara, where the Niners do not lose very often in that building, especially at that time slot. That's a tough matchup.
I don't see us beating the 49ers. I think we sweep the Vikings, fraudulent team. I've said it. We're going to split the Lions December 22nd, around that Christmas time.
Week 16.
Seahawks is going to be, Shane Waldron's revenge game. I think he's going to absolutely tear them apart.
That's a Thursday night football game, week 17.
Yeah. Do you think that'll go built for a flex? Is that around the time where they can flex games?
The Seattle Seahawks game for sure will be a Thursday night game. It doesn't matter what the schedules are. The NFL wants viewership rating, and we're in the third largest market. Bears will be in that Thursday night slot no matter what, week 17. I think if any games are going to get flexed, it's week 16 against Detroit or week 18 when we are at Green Bay. And of course we would finish the season at Green Bay. So again, like coming out of the bye, yes, the Bears play the Commanders, the Cardinals, and the Patriots. Like pretty good opponents like to face after the bye week when you get your rest. But the stretch between November 17th and December 8th, like that's a tough stretch. That's a tough 4 games between Green Bay, Minnesota, Detroit for Thanksgiving. Get your rest. You got 10 days to get yourself ready, and then you got to fly to San Francisco to take on the Niners. I mean, like
tough.
It's tough. It's tough. That's why I'm saying like it after sleeping on it, I think all of us got so excited yesterday when the schedule came out and you saw Tennessee right off the bat and you're like, yes, like we got this. Like we can beat the Titans. We paced them up in preseason, the first game last year at Soldier Field. I mean, like I know it's preseason, but like you think the Bears got that one in the bag. Okay, great. But like next week you're to Houston, who like that's the NFL's Cinderella team, and like
yes they are.
If they're just as a shade as good as what we saw last year, that's gonna be a tough game for Caleb and company.
Correct.
And again, Indianapolis is no slouch. The Rams are no slouch. I don't care if Aaron Donald just retired. I don't care. Like that will be still a tough game. The Bears should have a winning record by the bye week. I'm just concerned that, again, the Bears and the Steelers are the only two teams I was reading. The only two teams in 2024, the NFL schedule release, where like they don't play a divisional game until after week 10. That's insane.
That's wild, though.
That's wild, right?
Lazy scheduling.
Tell me, like, you don't have a little bit of concern that stretch that we just talked about between November 17th, week 11, and week 14 when they play San Francisco. Like, that's a tough stretch. I can see the Bears going 2-3 in that stretch. I mean, like, that is a tough stretch. And it puts more pressure on the first month and a half, 2 months of the season where they have to perform well, and they gotta hit the ground running. We got to
get out of the gate quick. Yeah, because that's okay. So I'm going to come into this. Obviously, I have my mark right down. I've written it down. I think the Bears go 14-3. Is it realistic? I don't know. But I'm a Bears fan, and I'm not gonna go into something thinking they're gonna lose. I don't want to go in with that mentality. I want to go in thinking they can win every single pissing game. But if we're gonna come at this with let's just temper expectations. I still think we beat the Titans, so we want to know. Texans, let's say we lose against the Texans, 1-1. I think we beat the Colts. I know you've got a thing with the Colts. I think we beat them, 2-1. Rams, I'm going to go with you here. I'm going to say it could be a difficult game, 2-2. All right? At this point, as a Bears fan, are you panicking?
No, right. I'm not.
Are you calling for Flus's head?
No, I mean it's going to depend. It's going to depend on how the team loses. It's going to depend on how we come out. This team was, this team was not ready the first month of this past season. And who did I blame for that? Eberflus and the coaching staff.
Yeah.
Like this team was not ready. Like they looked flat in every game. And who's that on? Whose responsibility is that on? It's Eberflus's.
Yeah. If we continue with this, we go with the Panthers. We don't lose against the Panthers. If we lose against the Panthers, I'm going to cry. I will cry.
We'll have
There's no way we'll lose against that booty ass team. All right, so we're at 3-2. Jags. I'm going to say it's a crapshoot. Like we said, it's the international game. Let's go 3-3. All right, we're going in bye week 3-3. We beat the Commanders. I don't care what anyone says. They look trash. We beat the Cardinals. They look trash. We beat the Patriots. They look trash. So we're now at 6-3. All right. Mm-hmm. Packers. Let's go pessimist. 6-4. Vikings, I don't think we lose against the Vikings. They've got a great offense, but when you've got, Pee Wee Herman throwing the ball, it doesn't matter. So I think we got what did I say? We're 6-3, 7-3. Lions 7-4, 49ers 7-5. Have I done that math right? I'm on the right number, right? 7-5. Vikings, I think we beat them 8-5. Lions, let's say we lose both games. 8-6. I'm there, right? Have I skipped a game?
I don't know how you're getting to 14, buddy, but keep going. I don't know how you're going to get to 14 with only a couple of weeks left, but keep going, sure.
8 and something. Seahawks would be, and then the Packers. I think realistically we're a 17-week season. I think the pessimist in us, I still think we have a winning season. I really do think we have a winning season, regardless. And that's me saying.
Are you taking that 14 win total down to like what 10, 9? What are you taking it down to?
If I'm going to say that we're going to fall between 9 and 14. That's the call. 10 and 14. Okay. 10 and 14.
So the realist Bears fan in me, we're going to win 9 games. We're going 9-8 this year. Best case scenario, Bears win 10 games. They win 10 of these games on the docket. On the docket.
All right, so let's put
the Bears.
Let's some money on it.
However, I do think that this schedule is good enough for the Bears right now on paper to make like the last wild card team in the NFC. I truly believe that. Clearly, the talent is there. Like they just have to show it. They have to come out and show that they belong in the NFC playoff picture. I think they can, and I think they will.
Knowing the Packers' schedule, I don't know what the Packers' strength of schedule was, but I went through theirs, and they have a piss easy schedule. All right, let's say the Packers.
I could care less what their schedule is. I really could.
What I'm getting at though is Packers' schedule's a cakewalk. I don't know what the Lions are, but I do like the Lions. They've proved us time and time again that they're a good team right now. Do we get as a 10 and 7 team? Do we get a wild card position as the third team in the NFC North?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I was just about to get to that. I truly think the NFC North is one of the better divisions now in football, and I truly believe that the Packers, the Lions, and the Bears will all make it to the NFC playoffs. Which seeding specifically, I don't know, that I can't predict. But, you're reading tweets, you're reading articles from last night. Statistically, from last season, and you want to put last season's records into this season, technically the Bears have the third easiest record overall of all 32 teams. So with that being said, is Houston really going to be the same Houston that we saw last year? Will Detroit have that same firepower now that they extended Jared Goff? Sometimes, guys get extended, they get money, and they do not perform. They do not perform and live up to that contract. I mean, there's a lot of different variables that can go into this upcoming season. Just because Washington and Arizona were bad last year doesn't mean that they can't make a run this year and look a little bit better on paper. I mean, that's the beauty of the NFL. I was watching TV last night on ESPN talking about the NFL schedule release. Erin Kate Dolan, who I really like, she's like one of the ESPN handicappers for ESPN Bet. You know what she told me? That the NFC, not the NFC, sorry, the the Super Bowl losers in the last like modern StatCast era for the last 20, 25 years, something like that. The Super Bowl loser coming into week 1 is 5-19 against the spread. The Niners open up the season at home against the Jets and Aaron Rodgers' return. But this is the NFL. This is what I'm talking about. Like, you just don't know. So the Niners are, I think the Niners opened up as like a 6.5 or 7.5 favorite. That line's gone down to 5.5. And like,
Jesus.
our mind is thinking it's the Jets and Aaron Rodgers isn't Aaron Rodgers anymore. Like, the Niners should piece them up at home, right? Well, that stat she just read, 5-19 against the spread. Like, will the Niners actually cover that number? You think that they should based on last year, but the NFL is weird, man. It's wonky. You might have it one year and the next year you might not. Also, we talked about on this podcast before, like, other than Green Bay, none of our division rivals concern me or scare me. Do I respect them? Yes. Like Detroit, I respect them. They have a good roster. They have good coaching. Their players execute. They have a really good offense. Yet, I thought we outplayed them 7 out of 8 quarters last season.
Yep.
With Justin Fields. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like anything can happen. Anything is possible. The NFL is like such a parody. It's like you really don't know what you're going to get. So, again, I think 9 wins is really our number, and that is an improvement from 7-10 last year. 9 wins, that's much better than what we were last year, and I do think 9 wins is still good enough to get that last wild card spot. I think 10 would be overachieving. I think 10 is like a dream for Bears fans. We get to 10 wins. I mean, we haven't had 10 wins since 2018. You know?
Well, I can't wait for us to have those 14 wins, John. It's a personal. I'm just
I love that we're going down the list, and you're like, what are we at? Are we at 8-6? And I'm like, we only have like 3 or 4 more weeks to go. I don't know how we're getting to 14.
I honestly, I was saying stuff out loud, and then I was thinking about who's playing, and I forgot about the numbers that I was spouting out. But 14-3, 10-7, all good. I do want to bring something up, and it's not something we were discussing, but it's something that just came up recently on the news. Justin Fields as a Bears quarterback, and the drama with Nick Foles.
I don't believe that. Do you actually believe that? Do you believe that there was some type of like friction in our locker room between him and Nick Foles? Because I don't want to believe that.
I'm going to tell you right now, even if there was, all right, I'm going to say there wasn't, because he doesn't give me that vibe that he is that type of person. I do not get that vibe from Justin Fields. I think it's slanderous whoever came up with this stupid article.
He's not even on the team right now, so like, why does it matter?
So who gives a shit?
Like, why are we doing this hit piece on Justin Fields? Like, what did he do to deserve this slant? Like, right. It's just silly. Continue. Sorry.
But here's the thing. If he did, and this is going to sound, I'm going to come up for Foles and Dalton here. Who gives a shit? It's Nick Foles and Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton that couldn't do anything in the playoffs.
Who got booed in preseason here. Got booed.
Yeah. And Nick Foles, who, yes, he won a Super Bowl. Yes, he was that guy who made the Philly special. Whatever. I don't give a shit. He was trash. He was garbage. He was a fraud. If I was Justin Fields, I wouldn't be fucking listening to either one of those two either. You should do this.
Yeah, it was just bizarre. Like why are we doing a hit piece on Justin Fields, who like isn't here anymore? Like Caleb Mania is
love him.
Caleb Mania is still very hot and heavy here in Chicagoland area. Like, leave Justin alone, man. Like I can't imagine. I can't imagine like how Justin feels like. And maybe he has, maybe he hasn't. Like, looking at social media, looking at all these Bears fans, like, just clamoring and loving on Caleb and being like, I was that guy not long ago, and it's like I've already been forgotten in that city. It must be such a weird feeling.
Yeah.
I don't envy him. We've talked about it. I truly hope that he takes over for Pittsburgh this year. Like, the kid's got talent. And I really hope Tomlin and that offense can and that offensive staff can like get it out of him, man. Because like Justin shouldn't just be written off and like that was his NFL career. Like I truly think
he's not a kick returner.
No, he's not a kick returner. He's not a punt returner. He should be better. Speaking of the quarterback position, before we wrap up here, and again, this is the Bear Necessities podcast. Go ahead and follow us and give us subscribe. Please like our channel on YouTube. Just made a Twitter page. Just made an Instagram page. We're trying, guys. We're trying to get ourselves out there. Okay, we're trying here. But just really quick before we wrap up here, I just want to talk about the quarterback position for a second. We talked a lot about on last episode about like how like this feels different, right? About how like it's weird, like the Bears are like finally doing the right thing. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that. Like it's so refreshing that they didn't bring in like a veteran quarterback behind Caleb to mentor him and to, be the starter in preseason and to start the season because he's the veteran and he has NFL experience. Like the Bears are finally like, you know what? Like we've done that before. Other teams have done that before. Like that shit doesn't work. Like we know you're the dude. Like we know you're our guy. We trust that you're going to be our franchise quarterback for the next 5 to 10 years, hopefully longer than that. Like we understand like the situation that we're in. So like, here's your playground. Here's your toys. Go play, man. Like go ball out and have fun. And it's like we've never done this before, and it's so refreshing that the Bears aren't being the Bears right now. Like they just they literally laid all their cards on the table and told the whole world like, this is what we're doing. This is our guy. And this is his weapons. Yeah, he's gonna go ball out and have fun. And like this is awesome.
You look at the veteran quarterbacks that the Bears always bring in. All right. Let's just analyze that really quick. Mike Glennon, right? That long neck weirdo.
I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
Yeah. Mike Glennon. He was our guy for Mitch Trubisky. That's a joke right there, number one. Andy Dalton, tail end of his career. Big Dick Nick, fraud. And they were having a conversation about, Ryan Tannehill. Like, I'm sorry, but... I'm sorry if you're a Ryan Tannehill fan, but what's he done? Like, you're bringing these people in the tail end of their careers that haven't, for me, shown that they are successful quarterbacks.
Right.
Like,
right.
if you're going to bring in a veteran, bring in someone that's won a Super Bowl, that's a proven playoff quarterback, that's always. That when he speaks is demanding respect. I'm not sat there in a room listening to Nick Foles. I would be Justin Fields if that story is true. Just like, okay, thanks for your words of wisdom. I will not take them into consideration because you are trash. I am happy that they are letting Caleb Williams be Caleb Williams. You're a generational quarterback. You don't need to learn from anyone. You learn from yourself. You learn from your coaches. Get your shit done.
Yeah. It just, again, this, I'm going to continue to say it. I'm going to continue to harp on it. This just feels different. It feels different. We're not like, being all timid heading into the season. Like, yeah, we drafted a new rookie. But there's always a but. There's this guy or there's this scenario. This just feels refreshing. It's like, it's 2024. This is the NFL, man. Like you picked the guy at number one. Give him what he fucking needs and let him run with it. And oh my God, like I'm just ready. Like we started out the show. Like, can we just skip summer? I'm ready. Like, let's just get to August. Let's just get to the Hall of Fame game. Like, come on. Like, let's go. I'm ready to do the damn thing. It's just so nice that that the Bears aren't doing what everyone thought they were going to do and thought they would bring in like a hand holder for Caleb. Like, no, like
Tannehill.
Like he doesn't need that.
I don't want him.
He doesn't. I don't think he needs
too many
that.
hands in the pot. We don't need it. We
Exactly.
don't need it.
Exactly.
Speaking of
the Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes situation, like that was like a unicorn situation. Like that's not real life. Like that doesn't work for other franchises. Like
correct,
and it wasn't going to work here. That Nagy thought that was going to work for Fields. Like no, dude. Like That
trash.
ain't it. That ain't it. So
talking about hands, we were just talking about that. Too many hands in the pot. Can we just talk about how Caleb Williams has come in and done what nobody in Chicago Bears history has done? Created this. Whatever this was came out of nowhere and is just blown up social media. Like, I'm down for this. I'm all in on this.
Bears have been around for like 100 years. Bears have been around for 100 years, and like no one's ever done the bear claw other than the Bears superfan. The guy that's always in the crowd. Yeah.
Maybe he should get the credit for this.
He really should. He really should. And I don't know why he doesn't. Although he is in the NFL Fans Hall of Fame, I do believe. I know his name is Dan. I always forget like his whole fan name, so I'm not going to butcher it. But everyone knows who I'm talking about. The guy that dresses as a bear at every Bears game. Like, it's please look it up for me. But again, it feels good. NFL release just came out last night. And one more thing before we sign off here. One more thing. I don't want to. I feel like we vented too much.
We love venting though. We do a good fucking vent, baby.
I'm surprised the Bears only have 3 primetime games. Like I feel like the Bears, in the past, like we've had really shitty teams, and yet the NFL still will be like, you know what? It's Chicago. Let's give them 4. Let's give them 5 primetime games. We only have 3 because like I'm not gonna count the London game as a primetime game. I mean, like shit, like we're gonna be up at 8 o'clock in the morning watching it. Yeah. I mean, for you, that's, a little bit more, normal. But, like for me, like a dumb Midwesterner guy, like it's, I don't wake up to
Premier League.
I don't wake up to watch Premier League. Like I don't. That's not my cup of tea. That's not what I respect it. I think it's awesome. Don't get me wrong. It's on my sports bucket list one day to go across the pond and watch a game. Like that is on my sports bucket list. I have to do that at one point. But did you find out what's his name? Dan Bear Claw Bear Den. What is his name? Did you find it out?
I typed Dan Bears fan on Google.
I sworn it was Dan
and the
something.
first thing that popped up was talking about, is Dwayne Wade a Bears fan?
Yeah,
why do Chicago Bears love Dan Campbell?
No, we'll figure it out eventually. Again, he's Jack Lomax. I'm John Prisnowski. This is the Bear Necessities podcast, and thanks for hanging out with us, guys. We're gonna do a show here again in hopefully a couple of weeks. Hopefully we have some juicy content, some juicy material to talk about. Jack, again, final prediction: 14 wins. Or are you taking that down?
No, I've sat on it and I've changed to 15-2.
15. Okay. 15-2. I'm a 9-8 kind of guy. I'm a 9-8 kind of guy. Or best case scenario 10-7. Best case scenario 10-7. But I think the Bears get 9 wins at least. So again, Bear Necessities podcast. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Please subscribe. Please follow us on YouTube. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.